Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga will be giving a briefing in the next hour. It comes a day before pupils return to school for full-time learning. Cabinet eased lockdown restrictions last week, announcing that 1 meter social distancing requirement would be scrapped. Our reporter Tshegohaco Moagi is standing by for this briefing. She's left to us now from Pretoria. And Tshegohaco, I imagine, some of the lingering concerns around how this is going to unfold for parents is around the social distancing requirement, because we all know that even though the restrictions have been eased, the pandemic is still very much with us.
Absolutely, Ayanda. That is one of the huge concerns that, some parents could be facing, the issue of social distancing. And what then takes place in that regard? You'd remember that was that 1 meter social distancing that was allowed within the classes, and this then forced the Department of Basic Education to have the rotational learning. But that, of course, according to Cabinet's decision, has now been scrapped completely, the 1 meter distancing and the rotational learning. And you'd remember as well that the Basic Education Department has often spoken about learning losses due to this rotational learning that has taken place for about almost 2 years now. But to give us more details about those concerns and the plans that have been put in place by provinces, I'm joined by the Basic Education Department spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Elijah, thank you so much for your time this morning. Now, the concerns, of course, would be around the 1 meter distance that has now been scrapped by Cabinet. Some concerns, of course, from parents. What are some of the decisions that have been taken and the plans put in place by provinces to ensure that we remember that COVID-19 is still in place?
Good morning. Well, there's a lot to be said by the Minister when she starts the briefing at 10 o'clock. I wouldn't like to go into the detail, but there's been quite a lot to plan towards, because what we are doing from tomorrow is something that we have not done in over 2 years. So it's important that everyone is aware of what is coming through. What I can say for now, though, is that on Friday we issued a circular. That circular guides the sector on what needs to be done to comply with that decision of Cabinet of returning all schools back to normal. We're also going to be gazetting today new directions, which we also need to be familiar with. All of these documents are assisting the sector to process that decision and to implement what it really means, because we want everyone in the sector to know how to proceed from tomorrow onwards.
And of course, the stakeholders, what concerns, or have you had any discussions with them and some of the concerns that they may have raised specifically with this issue of the 1 meter that has now been scrapped?
Well, it doesn't seem to be concerns in that regard, in terms of that 1 meter thing. I think everyone understands that COVID is around us and we need to work towards living with it, alongside it, basically. And we all are understanding that the non-pharmaceutical interventions need to continue. What has concerned our stakeholders is a whole range of issues which the Minister will also outline, but they've got to do with infrastructure and possible overcrowding, but the Minister has a response to that. She will outline what it is that she has told them in response to those concerns. But what is good is that everyone supports the full return to school. So the Minister will actually outline the details and also take questions on other issues that could still be concerning people.
Now, we've often heard that the department saying that there needs to be a reboot of the education system because of the devastating effect that COVID-19 had on the system. Is this one of the ways that you're going to be building up the system once again to avoid the learning losses?
Absolutely. The only way you can, or the first step towards rebooting the system is to make sure that everyone is back to school. Whatever it is that you want to do, you need to ensure that there's full daily attendance, return to normal timetabling. Then you can commence with your recovery plans. Because if people are not back, people are still on rotational, it will be extremely difficult. Yes, the losses have been devastating, but we believe this groundbreaking decision by Cabinet to allow schooling to return is going to assist the sector to try and recover some of the losses, or even help us to work together to reboot the system indeed. So we urge our school principals, SMTs as well as SGBs to work together to understand the circular that we sent, because it starts to talk to some of the issues that have got to do with the rebooting of the system.
All right, thank you so much, Elijah Mhlanga, the Department of Basic Education spokesperson, just giving us details about what we could possibly be hearing from the Minister in that briefing coming up at 10 o'clock.